Does the arrest of Ratko Mladic change the future of the Balkans? Does it allow for a psychological shift among the people who live there? Dr. Zlatko Lagumdzija is former Prime Minister of Bosnia and is in our Westminster studio now. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Can I ask you first of all about the importance of this one man? He's old, he's ill, he's finished as a force. Does he still really matter?
Well, of course, when someone is the key person in genocide and crime against humanity, he is the key person as far as he's alive. So I think this is a very symbolic thing. After Milosevic and Karadzic, the Troika is completed now. Justice is truth in action, and some people are saying in that sense. I think we have to use this not only to bring Mladic to justice, because there are already cases. His subordinates were already generals were sentenced to long life in prison because of genocide and war crime against humanity, and there's no doubts about the facts are very clear about him. But I think this is a time that people in the region, people in Serbia, some people in RS as well, confront with reality, with the past, not in order to change it, but in order to really reopen the new path for the future.
It's interesting on that point that actually there haven't been much in the way of demonstrations of support for him, have they, in Serbia? There hasn't been any kind of real, I mean, a little bit in the village where he lived, but are you buoyed up, are you pleased to see that actually it seems that most people in Serbia, and particularly the young, really don't mind if he does go to The Hague?
You're absolutely right. I mean, this is showing actually that people realize that they were hostage of few criminals. They were hostages. Any nation should not be the hostage of the few criminals who did the big crime on behalf of that nation, because this is very important. And after all, I'm sure that, I mean, you can, on every average football match, you can see more skinheads making troubles than some people over there over Mladic. So, I mean, don't worry, this is normal.
And it sends out a message, doesn't it, to people elsewhere in the Balkans about the people of Serbia?
It is sending the message. It is sending the message. I think this will be a chance, as President Tadic said yesterday, close the chapter, but we have to open the new one. This has to be, if I can say, the end of the beginning of facing with the truth, and really going through some type of cathartic process. Because, to be very precise, I cannot, not being recalling myself, a few days ago when President Obama was talking a few hundred yards from here in your parliament, that there are shared values that are straight line from the beaches of Normandy to the NATO bombing mission in Libya. And I can say that that straight line has one little hole, which is Srebrenica. Srebrenica actually happened, and Sarajevo was prevented to happen, because that straight line was continued, so to speak, because Srebrenica is the result of not sharing the values in through the deeds by the Western civilization.
Yes, and is part then of this trial, as was being suggested to us earlier in the programme, is part of the trial actually truth-telling about Srebrenica, which includes some pretty uncomfortable truths about the way in which the international community behaved at that time.
I'm absolutely sure, and I really hope that this trial will give us all in the region to close the chapter substantially by 2014, to have Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina in NATO, and use this trial and Mladic in Hague in the next 3 years to proceed on and speed up with EU integrations, especially finish the NATO, have Bosnia and Serbia being in the NATO, and in Sarajevo, there was supposed to be Srebrenica after Srebrenica, because of NATO not being in action at that very particular time, to have 2014, let's say, in Sarajevo, have NATO on 100 years of the First World War in Europe, started in Sarajevo 100 years previously, to close the chapter and say the Europe of wars is behind us.